Hello everybody, and welcome to Banished. Wayne right here with Screw It, We're Doing It Live, and I picked up this game. It's a city builder survival game, which is actually interesting. It's not first person, it's kind of like SimCity or Anno, in the sense that you place down the buildings and your people kind of do their thing. So came out on Tuesday, so I've been playing around with it the last couple of days, just figuring it out, kind of working around with it, just figuring out how the game works. Now you can see in the background, it's a kind of cool aspect. It's just a little bit of stylish thing, but this is actually a city I've been playing with. It's kind of a starter city, so it's not too big. It's got the basic needs. It's got food, it's got firewood, it's got logging camp, it's got a market. This is it. This game actually goes into all the different seasons. So you have the cold winters, you have the hot. It's not really, the temperatures in the other seasons don't really matter, but it's the cold in the winter that really can see a lot of your people die. So we're gonna start a new game. Now I did start this game a couple of times now, but because of some computer issues, we actually lost all of our save files. So I actually like the map, so we're going to start on the same map. And the thing is, these are all randomly generated worlds. These are all just randomly generated with the map seed. It's kind of like Minecraft, and you can rename your city. We're going to name ours Opportunity. And now you get all these different settings. You get valleys or mountains. You get the settings of valleys or mountains. So how your terrain is. How big your map is. Now small maps are actually fairly large. With a lot of these, you don't see yourself expanding unless you play it like a ridiculous length. You don't see your cities expanding much too out too far of the size that this city is right here. Climate, fair, mild, harsh. Fair is kind of just normal. Disasters on and off, I like to keep them on because I like to see what kind of disasters. The only disaster I have ever seen in this game so far is fire. And I had my primary food source and one of my logging camps actually be set on fire. I don't know how they did it. They don't have any firewood in them, but they did. So we have also then have 3 starting conditions. Easy gives you a bunch of people, everything you need, houses, seeds, livestock, all that kind of stuff. Medium, they give you seeds, they give you a little less people, clothing, firewood, tools, and construction material. So everything you need to start, but without the houses. So you need to start building houses right away. Now, the way I like to start is hard. They literally give you some food, clothing, firewood, tools, 4 families, and that is it. They give you a little storage cart to store all your food. That's basically how you got there. But there is nothing else. If you want seeds, you have to find a trader to get them. If you want livestock, again, trader to get them. And it makes it a little bit difficult. If you can't make it through your first winter on hard, the game is basically over. Because half your people will die, you don't have enough people to keep sustaining yourself, and it just basically snowballs into what is going on. So we're gonna start Opportunity. Let's see what we can do. So these loading screens are actually kind of cool. They can you can just see how your city can be and like what other people have done. I think these are just kind of like test maps that the developers came up with. I am not entirely sure, but. And it's also got like the kind of like SimCity sayings on the bottom. So right away we're gonna pause, and I'm gonna bring up these little tools that I usually use. So we've got the professions, the event log, and basically our stockpiles. So as you can see, we've got some firewood, we've got some food, we've got tools, and we've got clothes. So, and then we've got our professions over here, so we can select workers to work different places. Now I know I'm gonna need builders. Now if there's not enough work for, so you can see of whatever, so you can see how many people you would be effectively able to work each building. Now, you don't have to put, if it says out of 4, you don't have to put 4 people, and you can put more and they'll work faster, but you're not getting the proper efficiency out of it. Laborers you always want to keep around because they'll chop down trees and whatnot. So if we look at our map, we can kind of see we've got this big river right here. It's right over here, actually. So this is our big trade river. This is where we're going to have to put a trading outpost. And you can see there's a couple of lakes. A couple of pretty little lakes. There's a deer taking a swim. I don't know what the thing is with deer swimming. I don't know. But you can see there's a little gap here between this river and this lake here. I think it's kind of cool. So our area starts off with a lot of resources. So we should be good. So first thing we have to set up is a food source. Now I like to start with these foresters because these foresters produce wood and they actually clear the area of stone, of iron, but they also produce forests, or full mature forests, which are useful in gathering, which produces mushrooms and food and all that kind of stuff. So mushroom, berries, roots, and mushroom, berry, roots, and there's a fourth one, I can't remember what it is. But that's a very good source, especially when you're playing on hard, a very good starter food source, besides fish, obviously. But I'm going to put it right here. So it's overlapping a lot of this forest lodge. Now I'm going to pause the forest lodge because I don't want them building that right away, because it's not really useful. I'm going to build a couple houses. Now I don't need to build the maximum number of houses that I need, because people are actually smart enough to, hey, I'm cold, or I'm hungry. No, if they're hungry, they'll go back to this storage cart, which has all of our food, all of our firewood, all that stuff. So we're going to pause the houses because I want to get the gatherer up and running really quickly. Now, if I put two gatherers, if I put 4 gatherers, or 2 gatherers in here, they're going to get really confused. They're going to be like, well, we can't. So they'll work as laborers, and I'll kind of show you how that works. Those laborers kind of just build all this stuff and chop down trees, move things to construction areas, that kind of stuff. So I'm also going to build a storage barn. I'm going to build it a little bit north because I do want to have another forester's lodge covering a decent amount of this area up here. So right about there. So if I put it there, put a storage barn right there. Now I like to kind of min-max the areas that I'm working with. So I don't want to get too much on the mountains, but I want to get it enough places where it's going to grow a decent amount of trees. Because up here I'm going to put a hunter's lodge. So it doesn't really matter all that much, but... So I'm going to put my storage barn right here. And right next to it, pause that because I don't want that built right away. Right next to it, I'm going to put a stockpile. Now, your people need stockpiles so that they have a place to put resources. Because if they don't have a place to put resources, it's just going to sit in the construction area and they can't do anything with it. So like when you have these buildings built, they'll clear out the trees, the rocks, the iron, but they won't throw it out. They'll actually put it in your stockpile, so you won't actually lose it, which is nice. Kind of gives you that. We need to save every little bit, but we need some materials to start off with. So I'm going to designate some of these trees here and some of these trees here. And then I'm also going to set these rocks to be gathered because we're going to need stone. Now, they're going to clear out some of the stone from that stockpile first. So, and then iron. We are going to need some iron for some of the things coming up. But I think that's a good start. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the time function and we're going to resume play. I'm going to speed it up a bit. So you can see our gatherers are kind of like, what? But I do this because they're not really needed as gatherers, so they can work as laborers and they can be okay. But as soon as the gatherer's hut is done, if I forget about it and I forget to put people in gatherers, I don't run into the problem of mists production time, essentially. So you can see all of our people gathering wood, gathering the stone, gathering iron. And then once that's all gone from here, they're going to start bringing like the stone and the iron, or the stone and the wood to build the gatherer's hut over here. Now, I know that that probably did not get selected. Yeah. So I'm going to delete that. So I want to get that gone because it's just one of those. So you can see our people aren't bringing stuff. Weird. Yeah, one of the things that's kind of buggy about this is they'll actually, if it's not an important house or building, like a gatherer's hut or an actual house, your people will not actually prioritize it first. They'll actually go out and they'll cut down wood, they'll mine the iron, mine the stone, that kind of stuff. They'll do that first rather than, you know, do the stuff they're supposed to. So our gatherer hut is finished. I want to put 2 builders going now. I want to put 4 gatherers. Because I want to get our food supplies. So our food supplies are going down. So I want to get these houses built. Because like I said, once we hit the winter months, it's going to get bloody cold. And that is going to be an issue. So I kind of put this, I want to build our first like little outpost city right here. This is a nice big area to expand. And what we have is we have enough room to do what we need to. We can put farms along the coast. We can put fisheries along the coast as well. I say coast, but like riverbed. And then we've got our storage barn to supply all of our food to. Now, this is going to go... We're actually going to delete the storage cart later on. We are actually going to... So, those houses are going. But our people are smart enough, like, in the winter, if they don't have a house and they get cold, they'll go to the nearest house that actually has firewood or logs or whatever. And they will actually go there and get warm. So, you don't... As long as you have at least one house with firewood, and it's not too far from where your people are, they will get warm and they won't die of freezing or they won't freeze to death, which is nice. And it shows the smartness of people. Intelligence. There we go. Words are good. So I've got our storage barn and everything here. Now, I want our city to kind of go this way. Now, I have a plan of how I want the city kind of laid out. So, we're going to expand this way. And I think our outer limits are going to be here. And now, once the gatherers and the houses are all set up. So, I'm going to pause it real quick. I kind of want to outline a little bit of what we're going to do. So, we've got, like I said, we've got the houses. And I want our limits to be right there. They haven't mined that stone yet, so we can't move that way. But I want to put our road here. Oh, back a little bit. And continue the road there. So one thing about this is your people will actually take roads in diagonals. So what you can do is you can actually set this up to actually make a diagonal line, which is kind of cool. If you just hold shift, it makes a diagonal line. So then we've got our road, and people will actually travel along the roads faster than going at just walking on the road, or walking on whatever, on the grass. So if I unpause this, everything's gonna start going. Now what I want to do is I want to put a... How do I want to do this? So I'm going to keep houses kind of over here. And I want to put big amounts of farms over here. But for right now, we just want to worry about our citizens and our population. So what I'm going to do is I want to put a town hall kind of right outside of our storage barn. So it's just so it's kind of centralized. 'Cause it doesn't need any workers, but it doesn't really do anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it down, and I'm going to make it its own little courtyard. Do I want to do that? Because there's a lot of wasted space. Actually, what I can do... I'm going to cancel that for now. I'm going to let it go. But actually, sorry. What I needed to do was I need to make a woodcutter, which I'm actually going to put right here. So I think that's outside of the range. No, it's not. So I'm going to put the woodcutter right here. So it's not too far from the stockpile. It's not too far from the storage barn. So I put it right there. Now I'm going to prioritize that because woodcutters create firewood, and that's going to be important. So our builders are going to work on building these roads, building the houses. For some reason, sometimes they decide to prioritize roads over houses. So I just got to keep an eye on that, just to make sure that they finish the houses, which they did. And then once the woodcutter and the roads are done, we are going to start our storage barn up. Because right now our gatherers are just moving back and forth between the food cart and putting all of our stuff in there. Onions, that's what it is. Onions. So you can actually click in here and you can see how much food they're producing. Now, like I said, the forester produces forest, and the gatherer kind of uses the forest as a foraging area. So until we get this forest expanded, it's not really going to do all that well, because it's got this big empty area right here. So it's not maximized in its uses. But for our small little population right now, it's okay. So our builders need to hurry up and finish that, which they're probably... We're going to assign a couple more builders just to get everything done. Then once that is done, we're also going to build a blacksmith. Place it right there. Now we want to place a woodcutter. Where is woodcutter? So there we go. And I want to reserve of food is low. Now it's going to keep bugging us about that, but our food supply is pretty good so far. So we're going to undo the pause on this Forester's Lodge. And I'm actually going to pause the building of the blacksmith. Now they're going to still produce, like, if people thought, oh hey, let's put stuff there, they're gonna take their time and they're not going to do it anymore. But I want to prioritize this Forester's Lodge to try and get the trees. So you can see the little saplings, but this area will be more more quickly populated with trees if we have a Forester's Lodge. Because that's their job, is they will cut down mature trees to produce firewood. They'll clear out rocks and iron to plant more trees. So this big patch of iron over here, this big patch of stone that's in its radius, that'll all get cleared out by the foresters. It won't be cleared out like clear cutting everything would, but it'll slowly produce and it'll slowly make up more area for trees, making both the gatherer's hut and the Forester's Lodge a little bit more efficient. So we're out of trees, we're out of logs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to designate some trees to be cut down. So the thing is, the woodcutter and the buildings use logs, which is kind of a pain in the butt. But I've designated some trees. We've got a reserve of firewood, which is good. So like I said, our laborers are going away. Our builders and our laborers are going at it and cutting down the trees that are needed. Now once... Oh, we're getting into autumn, so we've got an early freeze. Now if we had farms set up, the farms would actually start dying right about now. And that would be a problem because they would then lose all that food that they were producing. So you can kind of see, because the builders have nothing to do with the Forester's Lodge, because it doesn't have enough materials yet, they're producing, or they're building the roads. Now once they're done, once that's ready, like it is, they'll start producing the Forester's Lodge. So they'll produce, so they've actually fixed the AI where it will actually build the lodge, or the buildings before the roads. So if a building goes, hey, we're ready to go, I'm going to put 3 foresters in there, and I'm going to dumb down our builders. So like I said, the foresters will go out, and they'll cut down trees, and they'll plant trees. So all the mature trees in the area, they'll start cutting down, they'll start mining. So yeah, you see, all these people that don't have a home, they all went to this house, and they all got warm. So, now people are also smart. If they have a job that's over here, they'll actually they'll actually move into the house that's closest to their job, which is nice. It's smart thinking. So I'm gonna unpause this blacksmith. So they're gonna start because we're getting low on tools, but we're also going to build another house. Right here. Actually, no, right here. So I want this to be an intersection right here. Now I'm going to put that road down. That road's not going to do much, but our reserve of stone is low, it's saying. Now, like I said, this place is gonna produce stone and iron, but it's not going to produce it enough that it's going to be useful. Especially when we're building 2 buildings at once that need a lot of stone. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to designate some stone to be... I always click the wrong button. It's weird. I'm going to designate some stone to be chopped, or to be mined. I'm also going to do some of these trees, because these trees are going to go away regardless, but it's good to have them early. Let's harvest these ones. Now, I'm going to put another Forester's Lodge and a hunting lodge, or hunting... What is it called? Hunting camp? Hunting cabin up here, so that we're going to get food, we're going to get leather for our clothes. Let's build clothes, because we're running low on clothes, which our people will get colder if they don't have clothes. So this guy went in, got warm, he's coming back out. So once this house is finished building, our people will go, oh, hey, let's move into this house, and we should... The number of people I see, we should be okay if we just build that house. Now, our food is staying steady at about 800, which is good. So if we look at our gatherer's hut, we're doing pretty well on food. We're doing about 1,500 food per season, which is pretty good for this amount of people. So somebody became a laborer. 2 people grew up. So we got more people building stone, mining stone, and that kind of stuff. So we've got a lot of our people working as foresters and gatherers. Foresters were not really needed right now, so I'm going to dumb that down to 2, and we're going to have a lot more laborers. See, the more laborers you have, you also, if anybody ever dies, your laborers actually take their place. So if you have a forester that dies and you have 6 laborers, one of those laborers will become a forester, which is really good when you come to terms with like gatherers. If your gatherers die off, well, you're losing food production. Now I'm going to pause this real quick because I forgot to do something. I forgot to set my stock limits. I want logs and fuel at 300 because that gives us enough early game that we don't have anybody running out. I'm also going to increase food production. Now, these limits just say, hey, when you reach this or above in these materials, stop producing and become laborers. So it'll give us a bit more... so when they're full, they won't just be standing around doing nothing. They'll actually be working to clear trees, clear rocks, transport goods to and from places. So the game is good. The AI is pretty smart. Now sometimes, like I've had this once where the AI got really derpy, and it turns out it was because I had the food storage too far away from houses, and it was in the middle of winter, so they were cold and they were hungry, so they were bouncing, like they were jumbling right in between the two places, and it did not end well. So we've made it through winter and we have not had anybody die, which is great, because that's really a sign that your town is set up for a good long while. Now once this house gets built, the woodcutter and the blacksmith over here will decide to live over here, which is what we want. We want people living where they're working. Now I want to put up one more house just to kind of even out what we have. One more road. The thing is, we only have one builder, so we want to up that to 4 builders, so that our guys finish building the blacksmith and the house. So you can see our blacksmith going. They have like the different stages, which is kind of cool to just kind of show, hey, this house is this much done, this kind of stuff. So the blacksmith will actually use logs and iron to produce tools for your people. Because if people run out of tools, they actually work at, like, I think 25% slower or less efficient. So we've got our blacksmith. He's going to go to work. We've got our house up. So the woodcutter and the blacksmith immediately moved in. It's great. Now we've got some people without houses. Now, a family is considered 2 adults. So we have 15 adults, so we should technically have 7 houses, but I don't really like that idea, because some people will just move in with each other and kind of just live off the land, which is fine. And a lot of laborers tend to do that. So yeah, if we look here, why is the blacksmith over there? Hey, aren't you just living? Oh, because the builders live. So like I said, they kind of work right by where they're living. Now we've got enough materials, I think. Once the wood is finished cutting, then we're gonna we're gonna build our storage barn. Because we've got enough firewood, so the woodcutter's not doing anything. Let's look at. So he's picking up resources. So like I said, he's working as a laborer right now. Now once we have this storage barn, people will start getting food from there. We can actually tear down our storage cart, and the gatherers will actually bring their food here, and this is a more centralized location. One of the times I was playing this, I had my storage barn. I was playing and I had a similar map, and I had my barn right in the middle. Problem was, the vendor from the market was way over here. It was right in the middle of town. And so he wasn't able to actually travel fast enough to actually clear out the storage barn. And it kept filling up, so I kept getting warnings of, hey, you're full, you're full, you're full. And I'm like, well, I'm not full. And so the gatherers were still working, but they had nowhere to put their food. So it was we kind of had that problem, and it was just like, well, what do I do? So I had to, actually, what I ended up doing was I ended up putting a barn right in the middle of the 2 areas I had, and I actually moved one of my actual hunter's cabin. I actually moved it up a different place. Actually, I moved it to the other side of the city and put a barn on either side of the city, and it actually worked pretty well. So what we want to do is we want to actually get that, like I said before, we want to get expanding up into this area and do our hunter's lodge up there. But we're reaching our wrapping up point, so I hope you guys are enjoying. I'm going to put out a couple more of these videos. I might even decide to live stream a bit of this, because this is a game that takes a bit of time, takes a bit of thinking, and I think that's a good idea to live stream. So, but until then, I'll kind of figure out the situation with everybody else and see what we can do. But until then, I hope you guys are enjoying. Hit that like, favorite, and subscribe buttons. And I'll see you guys next time. From the City of Opportunity, this has been Wayne Dre. See you later.